Hello, welcome to my Zwift number 24 video. This is stage 4 flat is fast around Douce, France. It was nice before the race actually started to get a few comments in the messages. Somebody was saying that they actually watched one of my videos when I said I was going to post this video later on, and so that was nice to see that somebody's actually watched my videos, because obviously numbers are very low. And I'm not doing it for the numbers at all. I just do it as a little bit of an interest. So that was nice, but onto the race anyway, and not a massively powerful start from me. I decided that I would try and use a slightly different strategy where I wasn't going all out with my power straight away, which seemed to be okay. It seemed to work all right. I'm up with the main group. There's the whole group of 99 riders are here, and it soon bunches up quite nicely, and I haven't exerted myself too much. So we're doing like I said, the Douce France route. It's 24.8k, 137 meters of inclines, and there's 99 people in the race, and we're all still together. This is the section of the route that I call the intestines, because of what they look like. Very windy, undulating up and down, can be very quick, and can catch you out and can cause groups to split, which I thought that was going to happen at this point, because you can see we're very stretched. I'm back in 70th position going up this incline here, but fortunately the group comes back together, so I'm saved a little bit there. And like I said, we haven't dropped a single rider yet as far as I can tell, so that's all positive. I am holding on. My average watts is good, 264. We are already 2k into the race though, so I'm hoping that, despite the fact that I'm right at the back of this very long peloton, that it will come back together again and I'll be able to hold out, because I'm hoping for a little bit of luck here, because this group could split at any second. So a further kilometre down the road, and you can see from the group that we were still quite stretched out a lot, and that only started to come back at this point. And I don't really have an understanding as to why the group came back at this point, but we all blobbed up, so it must have slowed slightly. I don't feel as though I was putting any power in. My wattage at the time would suggest that that's not the case, that I didn't put any extra power in. But on 4k, here we are, we're all back together, and you can see from the mini map in the top right hand corner how we've all closed up, and we're still not dropping anybody. So although I'm 70th, there are still quite a number of riders in behind me at this point. So just jumping forward to just over 5k, and for some reason I just come straight through the rest of the group again, not really doing anything extra, but I found myself up in the first couple of riders, and feeling pleased that I'm in a better position really overall. So that was helpful. So from being right at the back for the first 5 kilometres, I'm now in a far better position. Yes, okay, I've dropped back into the mid-20s again, but I felt as though I was able to sustain a position further up the peloton here, which was pleasing, because obviously there's less chance of being dropped, or if there is a break, at least being in the front group. So moving forward towards the Ballon sprint, and you can see that for a split second I actually get the lead in the sprint, but ultimately by the time everybody else comes past me, I end up 17th. I wasn't sprinting, I wasn't trying my hardest to try and do anything about getting a sprint jersey, but that was nice to see that I did quite well through there. So fast forward another couple of kilometres and we're coming up to the main part of the race, which is the Aqueduct KOM, and probably the most daunting part of the race for me. I'm not a climber. You'll know I'm not a climber if you've watched any of the videos. I'm a 95 kilogram rider, so my high weight goes against me on these climbs. So I am thinking about a good position on the lead up to the aqueduct. You can see I'm positioned in the top half a dozen people here, but everybody else is thinking the same as well, and you can see that sooner or later quite a few riders come past me. So that plan and that strategy for me to be able to hopefully get a bit of advantage going up the hills and hopefully being able to keep hold of the rest of the riders doesn't work. I'm putting in 250 watts here. You can see my cadence jumps from about 70 up to the high 90s there. I dropped down a few gears and tried to increase my cadence so that I wasn't grinding as much power up the hills to see if that worked. But you can see from the mini map in the top right hand corner, which is what I'm always watching when I'm riding up these hills, how the group just stretches and stretches and stretches, and I have less riders around me, and you can see predominantly everybody's going past me rather than me going past other people. There's very little I can do about it really. You can see my heart rate's at 166. That's really high for me as a 55-year-old adult. So as we're coming up to this last part of the Aqueduct KOM, I'm conscious that there's about 10-15 riders in front of me that I need to keep hold of. I use a boost on the way up to try and catch hold of people. I put another power in there to try and catch hold of everybody, and then I'm really struggling from the breath. You can see my heart rate up to 170, which is very high for me, and instantly as soon as I get my next power up, I use it to try and catch hold of the riders in front. But I'm struggling. You can see that I've been distanced by 2 seconds by some of them. I'll go past somebody there, but actually by putting in a great deal of effort on the downhill there, I go straight past the third group, straight into the second group, which was quite unexpected but pleasing. And then I'm looking at the group in front, and at this point here I'm thinking, right, shall I try and catch hold of them? They're 6 seconds ahead. I felt it was unlikely, given the power that they predictedly got in that front group, that I was going to be able to catch them. So I just eased off a little bit, sat in with my group of around about 15 riders, and just wanted to see how it went. But then I was looking at the mini map now and looking at the times on the right hand side, and I could see that a few seconds ago it was down to 4 seconds and it's on 5 seconds now. So I was thinking, can we catch them? I did it the other week, to my utter surprise, that we actually caught the group in front. And I thought, well, can it happen again? Would we be able to catch hold of that front peloton group? So we're working hard, so that's pleasing to see. And whether we can or whether we can't, I'll leave it for you to be able to watch. But I fast forward through the different groups here. Here's a clip of all the leaders. There's still around about 55 of them in this front group. I fast forward to a name where it always appears that I can never get a name that's quite straightforward to see. But so fortunately, by the camera panning back to my group, I don't have to try and pronounce Mr. S. Tzeki from Poland. So yeah, the group stayed together again here, so I'll just fast forward through another few kilometres, and I'm aware that on the mini map, because I'm always constantly looking at the mini map as well, that I can see that somebody has pushed off the front of the front group, so I'm intrigued to see whether that's a proper attempt to lead out with about 10k to go, or whether that's just a futile attempt. So you can see him out there in front in the blue, and just as I managed to pan through the rest of the riders, he actually gets caught and brought back in. So yeah, that was, like I said, a futile attempt. Whether it was a proper serious attempt to try and break away, I'm not sure, but he was brought back together again. So back to our group. There's still around 15 of us, riding with some people like by the name of Deemer on. There's L Wildman there, just going off the back of our group momentarily. I'm sure he'll come back through in a minute. We're working quite hard. You can see my watts were up there to 270 for a split second. And yeah, the gap to the ones in front is now up to 20 seconds, so it has jumped a little bit. We did keep them between 6 and 10 seconds for quite a while, but now it has jumped up to 20 seconds. So they're obviously working a lot harder than us, and that's still a situation that I'm not able to compete at that level. So I'm going to jump again another 2 kilometers because nothing happened. Our group just stayed together, and the only thing that happened of any note when we jumped forward 2 kilometers is a rider by the name of P. Jenkins left the front group. I think he must have found it a little bit too hard, and we come up behind him. So I'm wondering at this point whether we will go straight past him. You can see that our power is considerably higher than his, and he comes back through the group there on the right hand side, and I think he's gone out the back. I'll actually see us create a gap of about a second, but he does pull it back, and he is able to cling on to our group. And I'm not sure if he finishes ahead of me or behind me, but he certainly finishes within our group of around 15 riders. So that was a good effort for him to pull it back when he must have, or I'm assuming he must have, put too much effort in at the start of the race. So inside the last 1.2 kilometers, and I try and fast forward now through the rest of the riders so that I can get the lead riders finishing the race. So I end up catching hold of Jay OTR, who was in around about second position at the time. Here he is, leading through to the finishing line. But then I decide, because he's slightly moving backwards, that I jump to another rider by the name of Schaefer. So Schaefer's out in front now and looks like he's in a good position. But as I see Schaefer out in front, I see C Cleverly drop, I think it was 8.3 watts to go ahead. But then you can see Mollerup from Denmark coming through. He's got 9.9 watts coming through, and here's a perfect angle for you to see it properly. Mollerup around the corner within the last 100 yards or so, going past Keverly. A. McDonald, is he going to take second or third? Looks like he might have taken second, but I'll wait for confirmation of that when I look at the results afterwards. But back to my group, and I normally am just riding in over the finish line in the back of my group, but on this occasion I was able to increase my watts slightly. Certainly not a sprint by any means, but I finished within the middle of my group of around about 15 riders. Close by was Jay the biker, who I'd seen numerous times through the race. His name kept on popping up. There's a group of 5 who led us over the finish line, and there's me back there finishing in, I think it was 59th position. There it is, 59th position. So another mediocre position finished. Race score stayed the same, so that hasn't made any inroads in that at all. But I felt quite good actually after that race, and felt as though I'd made a slight improvement. But here's the final standings of the race. Mollerup, like I said, took the lead in 36.48. Average watts 2.4. A. McDonald 2.7 average watts. C. Cleverly 3.1 average watts. Steno came over the line in 4th. His average watts was 3.2. And then K. Anderson, he averaged 2.8 watts. He was but just only a second behind the leader. So there's the top 5. Then to my group. So there's me back in 59th position. 40 seconds behind the leader in a time of 37.29. 2.6 average watts, that's not bad. I've been riding at 2.8, but recently 2.4 and 2.5, so that's an improvement on that, so I was pleased about that. Jada Biker just ahead of me, and also P Jenkins finishing 51st, so he made a good effort to catch all of our group and push and sprint at the finish line. So there we go, another video from me. Hope you enjoy it. There are more people watching my videos, so that's pleasing, and there are more people subscribing to watch the videos when they are released, so that's pleasing. But obviously I know that these numbers are very, very minimal, but I'm pleased that, you know, like at the start of the race where I had the comment from another rider that he'd watched the previous video and said how he'd enjoyed listening to that, and the commentary that I put into it was good. So yeah, that's nice to hear. But you know, it's just a little channel, but hopefully more and more people will start to watch it. But I'm not expecting great things. But hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a few things, probably from mistakes that I made, and I'll catch you all again soon. Okay, cheers, bye.